Hi. Yeah, I'll be back and just getting to the finishing line for the most part. Things that I did between videos, I finished this part up. So the ring itself, very similar to this. So if you're curious how I did it, it's pretty much the same method. I just made them a little smaller. This ring, I just projected it. I projected a sketch onto here, and then I used that as general reference. Actually, I put another one that was like slightly resized to design it for the buttons and things like that and the screen. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the screen. Um, Ideally, if somebody has a Cricut, that would be a good idea, or just a sticker. Give you an idea what it's supposed to look like. It has these very lovely numbers. And I'll have to do that at a later point. But I expanded it with a cylinder. So the idea is that this would just slot into here. The ring will be separate, so this, the ring will still free spin if you want to make it free spin, and it'll just slot into here. I probably should key it. Now I'm thinking about it, so this doesn't spin. It'll be like that. The easiest way to key something is just a quick box. So let me just do a quick box to do that. So I'll just make it some arbitrary length. It doesn't really matter. I'll just make like 4. And just have it like that. New body. Cut out of there. And then we will combine this with that. I did forget one thing. Just give me 2 secs. Mirror that. See, I'm not having this split in half because that button is asymmetrical. So just let me get it so I can cut it on both sides. Cut it out. And join that, and boom. Now we got keying so that when this inserts, it could only insert up and down. It'll be straight right from the get-go. We'll have to make sure to enlarge this. I'm just going to do tolerances at the end. Tolerance is a big thing for 3D printing because if you ever 3D printed and tried to get accurate dimensions, the problem is, you're extruding hot plastic, you're smushing it. So there's always going to be a bit of expansion. Usually tolerance is built in. Good printers, I usually do about 0.2 on all sides, but depends on how well the calibrate the printer is. So we'll get that bridge soon. I filled this in for the parts that I don't need. So we have dents. So like there's a cap here. So for this portion, this portion will just go straight against there, glue into place, or however person wants to attach it. I did finish these up a little bit, gave them, I projected it so they look a little nicer. They fit in a little nicer. We could have people print those separately, or we could combine it. I'm leaving them separate so I have that choice. I did add a spacer here. So the idea of the spacer is, since this is bigger for this lip, it's going to need a spacer for this center ring. That's going to hold these. So the idea is that this will print, and this is wide enough that it will fit right into this slot and then into here. So we can still print this as one piece. And then this will just come in and insert, and it'll keep it back. The nice thing is this hollow space will kind of give the lens, if somebody was able to print it clear enough, it will give kind of this hollow sense that, a real lens kind of get, like a telescope or whatever lens gives. So we just give that option. And oh, and this part, you would think, oh, I spent a lot of time designing it, blah, blah, blah. No. All I did, took a cylinder, smashed it against here, and did a cut. So it's like, like Play-Doh mold or something if you want. And boom. And you can see basically that on the, let me get to the one. Yeah, so you can kind of see it there where it kind of worked out. So the idea is that this is, they're supposed to be connectors that go up against each other. So that was super easy way to accomplish that. I offset it back a little bit. I didn't offset as much since, looking at that now, that's a bit chamfered, so we can chamfer that real quick too. I didn't offset it back as much since we didn't have that other one sticking out because it's physically impossible. So I kind of just set it back a little bit, and then I extended it so that it will double as the peg that will hold this. So basically this will get pushed all the way in through these rings to hold these rings into place. Where these are the spacer rings, and that's the main ring that will, still rotate, adjustment ring or whatever, like focus, which might be a bit fun for anybody. So as you can see, as you go further in the project, you'll usually find little nice surprises like this that will make it easier to assemble it from the printing. And this just worked out really nice because you can just print this as the base, have this up above, and it should look really nice. Anything else that I really worked on? I don't believe so. Oh, this magazine looking thing. I did that really quick. Basically, it was just a block that I sketched on both sides, cut out. What I thought would be fun for this is this could be, since we got screws all here keeping it together, the handle's going to be a little potentially floppy. So this will insert, and then you can put the screw in there. Yet again, something that just worked out. So it worked out really nice. It accomplished exactly what we needed to do, is keep it nice and secure. And minimizes glue usage. I personally have no problem with super glue, but a lot of people do. So it's good to give people options. And this prints is one piece, so it doesn't get split in the middle. So it's less area we're going to have a split down, because the real one doesn't have a split. I did modify the trigger a little bit. So I capped it off to avoid the screw, and I extended it out. So I wanted to show how I'm thinking about doing the trigger. So let's give this a try. So I'm going to make the trigger component of another component within that component. So if you ever mess with components a little bit, they have probably the best thing you can do with components is with the assemblies. So we'll just have it as built joint, and we'll just have it as a slider. And that should allow it. Think. I'm sorry. I'm not the best with this. I've done it a bit, but it's not working for me. I have to investigate this a little bit. I thought I was going to be showing something. Because I have mostly done rotating ones. I haven't done the slider before. Yeah, well, it's single axis, which should be. So maybe do revolve. That would be just. Huh. Anyway, so I'll still design it because it's not a big deal. It's nice for figuring out clearances. But this is pretty straight back and forth. So I'm going to take advantage of the parts that already exist in the model, like this cutout here. That's already supposed to be there. So what we'll do is we'll use that as the track for this to slide back in and out. Since we're doing it as two separate pieces, that will just slot right into it and sandwich into it. So if we want to do this, I didn't want to offset, I'm sorry. I wanted to move. So the idea is that it could go about this far. I'll say about that far. So it could go about 8 millimeters. So as long as we have about 8 millimeters of clearance past here, we should be fine. So let's draw up a sketch real quick. We will project this, and then we'll figure out where about 8 millimeters of movement would be. So not very far from there. So that shouldn't hurt it that much. And we'll have room back here and everything. So I'm just going to go pretty generous with how deep this is, because I want to do something else. So I'm just going to get back out of that sketch mode because I didn't actually need it. So what we'll do, go here, get a face, and then we'll get another face, and we'll just make it a smidge longer. And what we'll do now, let's get rid of this real quick, and we will just cap it off at the end so that it will have its own stopper. We'll make that a 5. Have some strength to it. Join it, and now we got a cap for the trigger. Let's bring back that grip body. And we'll just do a simple cut with keep tool. And so that'd be the general idea, what we'll get. And what we'll do now is we'll just push this back another 8. And that should give the back and forth. What we can do for a spring then is what we can do is, because the trigger's going to be pretty darn thick, let me pull that trigger back up, is it's not the most elegant solution, but it'll be definitely the easiest and most simple. Where'd the trigger go? Oh yeah, I made its own component. I forgot about that. So what we'll do here, I'll just mirror it real quick so we have one big one. And the nice thing is we can just put holes here. So we'll just put like a big old hole here and give it room to load a spring in. Actually, I might want to push that smidge more back. Yeah. So we'll have room for that. And then we will, now we can just center a spring about, let me get the centers of these so we get about center. And see, I got some springs. Okay, so standard assortment of springs that I got off of Amazon in metric sizes. So we'll just do, if we want to go nice and strong, we get a nice 6 millimeters. So 6 millimeter by 25, that should be pretty nice. So I'll do a 6 millimeter hole. I'm gonna move that down a little bit. Nope, we are tied to there. Let's move it down another millimeter. I'll make a 6 there now. Yeah, I don't want to get too close to the edges if we can avoid it. Alright, so I said about 25, so we got a clearance of 15, so we can go another. So we get another 15. I said 15? It's at 15, so let me actually pull this in a little bit. Change my mind on that. And then we'll push this through. So push that in 10. And from there to there, we will have 20. So we'll have about 5 millimeters of compression, which should be, we want a little bit of tension. So then we push it, it'll go a little hard. And rebound back when we release the trigger. So that should work pretty nice. I mean, it's just, super simple trigger to do. I know I've seen some much better, more complicated ones, but the nice thing is this works within the geometry that already exists, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, on the original one, this slopes up, but obviously that doesn't work for a back and forth trigger. And yet again, we'll build a little clearance in here, but that should work really nice. Now the one thing is, do we have any grip on the trigger? Yes, we're supposed to have a grip on the trigger. So I'll add that a little later. What I really want to focus on for the next hour, if I can accomplish that fast, given my history, I want to do the radiator fins, the heat sinks. So let's pull up to here and get our canvases ready, and get these into place. Because once we get this done, that should be a bulk of it. I think I'm gonna skip the iron sights altogether, because honestly, it's not even that attractive an item. If you look at it, it just kind of looks kind of weird how it's like, boom, there it is, just sitting there with a plate. And I think the radiator, I mean, it should look just fine without it. It can always be a later addition, but I think it actually kind of distracts from the overall look of it, personally. Alright, just going to take a quick pause, be right back. Okay, I'm back now. So the nice thing I've noticed with this radiator when I look close at it is we can approximate most of it pretty easily, because assuming this thickness is uniform across the entire thing, we'll just have to figure out where the limits of this is. Do a offset of this curve, since it should be just a matching curve, and bingo bango, it's pretty easy. Hard part, text. Now, that's one of the reasons I want to do this, because I want to give an idea of easy ways to do text through sketching. The nice thing about this is a very block letter type deal, so it should be pretty damn easy, because looks like almost all the letters are the same thickness. I mean, width and height, and it should come out pretty easy. So let's give it a quick try. So we'll just get general square for that. I might adjust that later, but just for basics. So let's start on the first letter. And can we do 10 dot issue? Yeah. All right. So I'm just drag this all the way along it. So we have basically uniform base that we can work with. Now what is 10 over here? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty cool? Yep, it's definitely 10 by 10. At least for the, you know, how I sized it. But yeah, this is going to make really, really super easy. So give an idea. So just make the, yeah, so we'll make, and we'll decide that 2 would be the thickness of all the walls of the letters. So just do a quick offset of this to 2. The nice thing is I can just do offsets for all these. I don't even need that. So I'll just be like -2, 2, and cut. Oh, I cut the wrong thing. Got a little too happy with the scissors. All right, so boom, there's the C. All right, so I'm just going to do a pattern real quick on this to so I have it to work with for all of them. And what we got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, so 9 letters total. Let me do spacing between, because that makes it easier to get consistent if we want to try to go consistent. So we're going to have to kind of cheat it a little bit because probably the lens distortion changes the letters a little bit. But we would rather have it consistent for ours. So let me just do 12 millimeters between. So it's going to be a little smaller. What if we did 15? That would be way too big. 13. All right, 12.5. No, 25. Yeah, we'll do 25. We can work with that. So that should be pretty good. And I'm going to make the spacing of the letters down here the same. So it kind of looks like that's what they're trying to do when they design this font, is to have everything uniform. So we'll just kind of follow in that spirit. So let me cut that. And what, this one's just an L. You know what? I should cut the... Now this is like super easy lettering, but luckily for... That's why I was kind of happy with this gun, that it gives a lot of really easy examples for this kind of thing to start off with. I've done more complicated letterings. Like recently I did a hoverboard, and that's kind of a stylized lettering. Well, that doesn't exactly... Oh boy. That's kind of a special letter, so they probably, the spacing's a bit different on that one. So maybe we can, maybe for all these, then I'll go with a little less than 2. So we'll just do like 1.75 for it. And we'll make that our consistent. Anyway, I was going to say that's more of a stylized script, and it's good to use the fit point splines. Learning how to use them takes a lot of practice, but it's definitely doable. Actually, might need to use 1.5, it looks like. Okay, 1.5. Because this is going to be the most important one, because that's the connected M of that font style. Yeah, just start this from scratch. So 1.5. Trim. Alright, there we go. Alright, so 5. So how thick should I make this? So kind of different, where it looks like it's more squarish. And this gives a better idea what it kind of looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's just a square that comes down. Don't know if we can find a website with that yet. It's one problem with this game being so brand new and everything in it being so new. It oh well, you know, there's a wiki entry. Looks like somebody designed a nice SVG. Now I could just, you know, take the SVG and use that. I'm sure if is it actually an SVG? Yeah, it looks like somebody did that. But it looks a little different anyway than what we're trying to accomplish. Now I'm going to, and the engraving actually looks different too. Yep, definitely the engraving's different. So it looks like he made just more of a stylized version with a little notch, but it looks like it's supposed to be square, given this other one. It looks like where the guy took it from the game. Ooh, it looks like it's all over the place. All right, so we'll just make it square. So since we're doing 1.5, we'll just have it a bit bigger than that. because it looks like it's supposed to be, so we'll just make it 1. And give a 175 thickness. All right. Get over there. Let's get back on track. That was a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Whoops. I was out on dead center. That's why. Shoot. Yep, because that's supposed to be the center there. All right, let's mirror this back. Do that. Cut, cut, cut. Cut, cut, cut. All right. Well, it still doesn't look exactly right, does it? So it looks like it goes a little further out. So maybe just 2.25 a little further on both sides. .25. And okay, let's spread this down all the way. So it doesn't look like the M the center of the M goes all the way down, but the M itself does go down. All right, so we'll just do this center here, and looks like just, yeah, so just make it 1. All right, link those together. Don't need that. All right, so yet again, we'll just get that. Okay, 1.5. Some 5. 0.75. Link those back together. And cut this. All right. So I'll just continue doing that for all of these. Just save myself a little extra jumps. All right, T. Be nice if there's like a thicken command on this. So if you ever use surfaces, there's a really nice command called thicken that will take one flat surface and it'll make it into a solid body. And whoops, that was me not paying attention. There we go. So it'd be nice for something like this, but I don't think such a thing exists. At least I have not encountered one yet. Oh, I took that too far down, didn't I? There we go. Oh, that's another trick I always forget about. So if you go to a point and you kind of hover for it a little bit, it will remember that point. See what I mean? It remembers that that was the point I was trying to measure from. So I hit here, just wait a little bit, and then I can still measure from that. So that's really nice for when you're trying to align things. And then you don't have to draw a point. That's really nice. So if like I'm drawing like a line right here, and I'm like, oh, I want it to stop at this point, I'd be like, there we go. So it stops at that point. It takes a little getting, it's just getting the feel of it. Once you do, it's really super easy to use. Cut that out. Cut it out. Oh. I don't want that one. I was just talking about that, and I already stopped using it. What happens when you're trying to rush something? All right, so there we go. So we got the first logo. Make sure all the bodies are, all the sketches are connected. So they'll extrude as one. Nothing wrong there. All right. So what if what if the top of the M's are an issue? Oh. This really does not want me to do it. We'll keep that because I think that's what it's supposed to look like. And so let's adjust the spacing real quick. So what we got about 4. Okay, we'll make this consistent spacing then, because that'll look nicer. So just we'll make this whole thing 4 from these. this part out. Save myself some time. Okay. So I got that. I'll just do quick box. All right. So let's pattern this down there. So we'll have the same thing. Okay. And look at that. It actually worked out kind of nicely too, so can't complain that much. So I think let me turn this back to a box before I pattern it so I have a nice consistent thing to work with across all of them. All right, and the spacing was, I think it was what, 12.5, I believe it was. Okay. And we just do it one more time, so negative 1.5. You know why? Because that was a reference. That's why it was didn't like me doing that. Yeah, get that there. Okay. Wait, did I do the spacing different? Shoot. It's 1225, not 1250. All right, so we'll just 1225. And then we'll got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer. All right, so let's do one more. All right, so I have 1.5. Yeah, lettering can be a little dull. Sorry about that. I just kind of want to show how an easy way to set it up. At least what's worked for me. As I said, I'm not an expert. I mean, there's people so much better, but I just know I want to be able to share what I've learned, what I've done, because it's one of those things. You know, it's the only way everybody grows is everybody works together. And it's one beautiful things about a lot of these online platforms and 3D printing in general, kind of the community with the remix culture and things like that. It's everybody sharing and helping each other. All right, so All right. So we're doing these about, what was it, 6, I think? Was it 5? No, it's 4. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's definitely 4. Yeah, all along, right? Yep. Up we go. 1 over there. There's 2. That's 1. All right. So I got the lettering all done. Let's start doing the panel. So we know it is the same thickness as this. I mean, as the crypt body. As you can see, it lines up. So that's easy. And I think it goes on the back end. Yeah, on the back end, it goes to a certain point. So we'll just use the reference there because there doesn't seem to be any easy, consistent reference with everything else that we can take advantage of, because I don't think it's even with that. I think a back angle one, so we can just be sure. Yeah, it almost looks like it's more inset than that. Yeah, definitely. So it almost looks like 2 meters, millimeters, or whatever. So let's get a consistent spacing from this. So if we do 3 up, and we'll do 3 up from this one too. Yep. So these be consistent amongst each other. And how thick are the blades? So what, 22.5 maybe? Let's see how 22.5 looks on this one. Yeah, good enough. All right, so that will be our thickness, be 22.5. Do at the end to this, so I want to make a wall for this. And all right, so, and we know saying that end is, maybe I'll make it even with the screw, just to have a little, symmetry. So let me pull up the grip, and I will project. Yeah, I'll project this. Yeah, I'll project this line right here. Make it even with that. Because it looks like, it should be a little off. Okay. And we'll hide this again. And we'll use this as this line here. Or some other reference there that's trying to conflict with this. All right, So let's round off the corners. We'll make it consistent between the two. So about 5, 4. Yeah, 4 looks pretty good. Okay, 4 on all sides with this a little bit of rounding here. So what, 2? Yeah, 2 looks good. Or is there actually rounding? No. I mean, there's rounding, but we'll do that after the fact. Now I'm looking at this. Yeah, we'll do that after we get everything together. All right, so that should look pretty good. And this is the only thing I'm not exactly sure which one I want to rely on. I think we're going to rely on the top one for how far out these are. So let's it's one problem about doing lettering with a construction part. But we'll get there. All right. So we want to make this roughly, what if we make it 40? Yeah, 39.5. 6, 7. All right, and then let's figure out what thickness we want to make it. Thickness is definitely the more important part. So should we make it, what, 39.7? Then we'll move, what, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, so we can make it 4. That should look really nice. So I'm just going to standardize this actually. So I will make it 40 so it's easy to remember. So I make 40 wide with 4 millimeters thick. How much it sticks out. All right, so then we know from the rear that we're just gonna have to wrap this around so it sticks up and down up there. So let's get that. Wait. Oh shoot, what did I push? Oh, I think I did cut. All right, yeah. I accidentally hit Control X instead of C, and it spazzed out. All right. So we will move this one, but we will use the pivot point as one of these center circles. And because we do that, we can just rotate it like that. And now we know it's the same height and same general position. All right, so then we need, we'll just draw a box from this one. That's 4 millimeters thick. And we'll just push it out here. Let's get rid of that, get rid of the front barrel real quick. And then we'll just do one right here as well. It's 4 millimeters thick. Line that up, bring it down. And one more. All right, so let's pull this back up. So we want to get a cylinder. Use this as a center point just so we have some kind of reference. And I think it's 44 was the, nope. What is the measurement? What's the diameter for this? Not any pretty number. That's what it is. All right. So I'll take that and we will add 4 to this diameter so that we know it sticks out. 4. And don't want to cut. All right, so I'm gonna put it here because we're gonna cut this using this body. Which actually, I think I'll push this one in too, since we can just use it to cut. And let me just wipe this half off, so I don't gotta worry about it. Okay, so cut this with this, keep tool. All right, so now we shouldn't need that anymore. Just pull this one down here. Wait, is it? Oh shoot, I don't think it's 4 millimeters, is it? It's 2. Oh, you know what it is? Because it's diameter. I should have doubled it because it would have been the radius. Oh well, easy fix. Push pull, 2 millimeters. Well, there we go. Fixed. Super easy. Oh. Whoops. All right. So get this, pull it down here. Okay, combine these 3, keep tools. Where does this go on the bottom? Oh yeah, it just goes a little bit. Okay. So just combine those two. Gotta make these faces flush. So that one merged just fine. This one doesn't want to merge fine. I'm doing a bit messy right here. Messier than I'd like. Ideally, I'd probably do sketches to make it, better. But I'm trying to work quickly on this. So I already spent a lot of time on this than I meant to spend. So we'll just... Yep, there we go. Alright, I'll clean that up in just a minute. Now I gotta clean this one up because it looks like the issue is it hangs over a little bit, and that's not what we want it to do. So let's clean that up. And we're going to want to make this 4. Calculator real quick, make it life easier. All right, and then we do push pull on this part to make it 6, 8, 3. Double check our work. Okay, 4. All right. So that should be pretty consistent, though. Oh. Actually, that doesn't work. Oh, I see the problem. It's got just the full rotation, but that's not exactly how that works. So, we'll just fix it. So just do it right about there. Then we'll push this part. You know what? I need to make it like pull this one out. And get rid of that rear one because that's just making it hard to see. Alright. Okay. And now let's get this back to 4 again, which is a bit easier. There we go, 4. All right, so that should look a lot nicer. The height's the only thing that's probably not gonna work, because what this is 6228 and this is, yeah, so we're gonna have to raise that up. Okay, 6228. You know, it's one problem with this. It's that okay, 6228 minus 5.53. So we need to raise it just a smidge. So raise it 0.698. And raise this one 0.698. All right. So now these gaps should be even with each other. Let's see what the rear one looks like. Is that generally how it's supposed to look? Yeah, so it's pretty close. Yeah, minus lens distortion and all that, because yeah, as you can see, it get a little bigger compared to the resized one I used for. Oh. Oh wait, that's a trigger. There we go. Yeah, so it shows that a lot smaller. All right, so now let's get the text onto it. So we get on this side. Let's get rid of the canvases. We don't really need those anymore. It just makes it harder to read. Okay, so just get the text letters and the little embossed thing. I guess technically I could use the emboss tool for this. I've always done it this way. It works the same, it's just a little more complicated to use. I want to emboss it by what, 1 millimeter? All right. There we go. That looks pretty nice. So let's change the appearance so it matches the white one. Don't ask me why sometimes, even though you're on bodies, it only applies it to one face. I don't know. It's a weird quirk. Because you would assume you're already on it. Shouldn't be that big a deal. And, okay, everything's just rounded a bit. So we'll just have to definitely round these. We'll probably make those similar to that, which 4... I don't know, 4 seems pretty extreme. Yeah, 4 is really extreme. Let's do 2. Yeah, 2 should look... 2 looks nice. All right, and let's go with the interior. Yeah, interior, yet again, same thing. So we'll make those 2 as well. Oh, I gotta fix this. Forgot about that. Or that's just change the length so it's where it's supposed to be. So I won't emboss that one or inflate it yet. 2 on that one, and oh, forgot to do this one. See, ideally I would do these all the same as well. Yeah, just make it 1. All right. So that should look, that looks pretty nice. Let me get this fixed up. We don't want that rounded over, and we will push that in. All right. So we. Just to make it look a little nicer. That's the reason I'm doing this, because I don't think an angle like that looks very nice. Two on that. Now, is it rounded against the body? It is. So I was supposed to round this. Darn. So let me get rid of that. All right. So that looks pretty good. Now, the trickiest part for these is going to be those screw holes. Like, if we want to do legit screws, I don't know how the heck you're going to fit a screwdriver in there. So I'm pretty sure that's physically impossible. Yeah. So we might have to just do that as a printed head if we want to include that detail. I was kind of hoping we could just screw them right in, but I wasn't really thinking about the angles. But that's a minor detail. I'll just project this at a 45, cut it in because it's see, it's just tracks on both sides. So real super easy things. Other things that still need done. It's these little divots on here. That should be pretty easy. It would just be some slots that we will rotate and then do a a circle pattern using this as reference. And any other major details that I'm missing beyond the obviously the iron sights. Don't think there's anything on the bottom of the beyond that hook thing. And beyond that, we're fairly close to done. So just got just some minor cleanup with the screws there, and then we can start printing to give you an idea what it looked like with the render. So I think it looks pretty good. See, they even did a little bit of texturing. And that should be good. I'll do some cleanup, get it ready for printing. I'll print it up, and hopefully I can show it printed in the next video to give you an idea of any things that I changed from here or there. And hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for watching if you did. I appreciate it. Have a great day.